What's going on, 90s Kids Club? Do you guys remember Angela Anaconda?
My name is Angela. Hey, hello. Welcome to my very own show.
Angela Anaconda premiered on April 15, 1999 and concluded on June 25, 2001. This was either one of the most terrifying shows of your childhood or one of your favorites, no in between. So in today's video, we're going to go over how the show was made, what made it so creepy to some of you, and go in depth into some of the characters you might have forgotten about. So Angela Anaconda actually started as a segment on a show called Kablam, which was an American television series that ran on Nickelodeon from October 11, 1996 to January 22, 2000. In 1996, Angela Anaconda moved on to the process of becoming its own TV show. So, how did this happen? The creators of Kablam approached Joanne Ferrone and Sue Rose to create a new skit. Instead of Angela Anaconda, they initially pitched a show called Family Values, but they rejected the idea because it was too mature and too lengthy for a children's show. The studio sent them a box with typical skits of Kablam on DVDs. Examples are Sniz and Fondue, Life with Loopy, and Bob and the Offbeats. The only show they ended up liking was a show called Sniz and Fondue. They went in the studio again to pitch a show, but this time they showed them Angela Anaconda, which was greenlit, and 2 shorts were made. So after the 2 shorts were made, Joanne Ferrone and Sue Rose pitched the Angela Anaconda idea to multiple studios, eventually getting picked up by the up-and-coming Canadian studio Decode Entertainment. Because of Canadian content laws, in order to get federal funds, the show had to be produced in Canada. The writing could be done elsewhere, but it had to be produced in Canada, so Decode brought Core Digital Pictures to design and animate the show. The show would still need to be picked up by a Canadian network, and that's where Teletoon came into the picture, being the place where Angela Anaconda was first premiered. So on the first day of production, face models were hired and brought into the studio to capture their faces from each angle and each frame of a mouth movement to simulate lip syncing. Each picture was put into Avid's Elastic Reality software, which was a warping and morphing software application available on Windows, Macintosh, and Silicon Graphics workstations, and was discontinued in 1999. And then animated using Houdini. Houdini is a 3D animation software application developed by Toronto-based SideFX. The procedural tools are used to produce different effects such as complex reflections, animations, and particle systems. This was very popular in the gaming industry, especially in the early to late 90s. So now that you know how the show was made, let's go over some of the characters you might have forgotten about. We'll start off with the main character, Angela Anaconda. Angela is tomboyish, clever, and often has vivid imaginations involving her enemies and friends alike. Her main hobbies are playing hockey, daydreaming, and hanging out with her friends. She's from a lower middle class or working poor family, which is used as a story to why her and her arch nemesis, Nanette, aka Ninny Poo, don't really like each other. The next character from the show you might remember is Nanette Manoir. Nanette Manoir, aka Ninny Poo, is the main antagonist of the series, who is Angela's main rival and teacher's pet. She speaks with a snobbish American Valley Girl accent, but occasionally she'll switch it up to a French one during the show. The perfect little angel to most adults, but Nanette is actually a devious, shrewd, slimy, arrogant, and borderline narcissistic mean girl, exercising the worst of her traits on Angela and her friends. However, looking back, you kind of feel bad for Nanette, because during the show you'll notice her parents are actually very mean to her and a lot more cruel to her than she is to her classmates. The next character is Johnny Abatti. Johnny Abatti is a sweet but dim boy of Italian-American descent who is a member of Team Angela. His parents are never seen in the show, and he is instead under the care of his nana Carmela and his uncle Nicky, who often tries to pressure Johnny into manhood. Johnny in the show is portrayed as a pretty boy, which causes a lot of girls in the school to have crushes on him.
So, you got a couple of ladies fighting over ya, huh? That's great, kid. You got the old up.
Johnny is known for having nasty habits like picking his nose all the time and shooting spitballs in almost every episode. A running joke about Johnny is that he has horrible eyesight, which causes him to get into some trouble almost every episode, and his famous catchphrase is, "I didn't do nothing."
I didn't do nothing.
The third character you might remember is Gina Lash. Gina Lash is the happy and intelligent best friend of Angela Anaconda. Gina always helps Angela Anaconda out of her problems or offers solutions to her problems. Gina Lash is a big food lover. Some of her favorite foods include cinnamon swirls, pizza, and jiggly fruit. Gina's appetite is so huge that she is able to eat more than 80 servings of a large meal. Her personality kind of reminds me of Mikey from Recess. The next character you might remember is Gordy. Gordy Reinhardt is the third member of Team Angela and is a sensitive, sweet, and creative boy who enjoys arts and crafts, flowers, baking, and dancing. He has a one-sided crush on his friend Gina Lash, who he's trying to get with almost every episode, and is shown to be a hopeless romantic. He also has asthma and multiple allergies. He kind of reminds me of Arnold from the Magic School Bus. The next character you probably forgot is Ephigenia Brinks. Miss Brinks is the school teacher that you'll see in almost every episode. She's easily manipulated and plays favorites, her decisions always favoring Nanette Manoir and her friends. Although, to be fair, there are moments where Nanette Manoir does get in trouble with Miss Brinks, but it's very rare. She usually sides with Nanette and believes whatever rumors that she comes up with against Angela and her friends. Another thing about Angela Anaconda that a lot of 90s kids remember is the whole fiasco with the Digimon movie. In 2000, Digimon the movie dropped in theaters, but before the hype kicked in, fans got hit with a wild surprise. A short cameo featuring Angela Anaconda. This 4-minute clip rocked that iconic cutout animation style, showcasing Angela on a mission to snag the perfect seat for what she calls the best movie of all time. But before she can enjoy the movie, her arch nemesis Nanette Manoir snoops in and steals the prime spot, sending Angela into a revenge fantasy where she transforms into Angelamon to settle the score with Nanette Manoir. This cameo may have been quick, but it's been roasted endlessly by Digimon fans who label it an abomination. The clash of Angela Anaconda's quirky vibe with Digimon's anime roots had everyone scratching their heads. Like, why throw a comedic short into a serious action adventure flick? It left fans questioning the collab, and the internet's been buzzing ever since about it. Sadly, in 2001 the show was cancelled. Season 3 only had 13 episodes compared to the usual 26. When Fox Family became ABC Family, the show was regulated to a less popular time slot before being cancelled altogether within months. Once again, 90s Kids Club, thanks for listening. Please make sure to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. And stay tuned for more nostalgic videos.